was all sad because of the traffic.
Oh my God, the traffic is ridiculous on the tollway. I mean, there was an accident in Lover's Lane that I backed up all the way down to Lemon downtown. I had to actually get off of Mockingbird and cut through Highland Park, and I hate going through Highland Park.
That's the way I went.
Yeah, I hate Highland Park.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, the cops are going to stop me if I'm 1 mile over.
Damn.
Are you allowed to be on the phone and drive in Highland Park? I didn't think so. Yeah. I caught myself doing that.
They'll pull you over.
You can't be
for
on the
anything.
phone anywhere.
In Dallas
Texas,
proper?
in Texas.
Well, they don't pull you over for it, though.
No,
But-
in Highland Park they will.
No, but I'm just saying is you
Highland Park,
Texas,
they'll pull you over if you fart.
Texas, you're not supposed to. Well, wait.
Yeah, no,
you
in
can hands
Texas.
free. Well, it is, but
you
it's
can
like
do
you can be
hands
hands
free, but
free.
you can't be talking. But they don't enforce it, which is bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. It's like, I'm hands free. It's like, enforce that shit. Welcome to another Buddies, Booze, Banters, Unfiltered Conversations podcast episode. I am Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex. I'm pumped to be here.
No,
It's
definitely,
I feel like I'm like
Because y'all both been,
It's a lot to get here
been
today.
under the weather.
Yeah, and I'm still slightly under the weather, so if I sound like an 80-year-old woman who's smoked for the last 70 years, I apologize for that.
That's
But
always
That's
how you
just
sound.
reality. That's how you are all the
Yeah,
time.
that's your reality.
well, it might actually be kind of a sexy voice. I mean, just what it is.
no, I wouldn't go that far.
I was curled up in a ball Sunday. I was in the fetal position. I was sweating. I was clammy. I was hot, cold. I had to take 3 baths.
I wasn't to that point. Mine's all allergy related anyway, so
The allergies are bad here
Yeah,
now.
it starts in the sore throat and goes to sinuses, and that's it. And of course, the cough that lasts for fucking ever. So,
Oh, now you have the dry cough. That's going to be a 3-month.
So that's why you're sucking on those honey things.
that's why I'm sucking on the vanilla honey cough drops. So if you see that's me. Okay. I mean, and it really works well with
That's
alcohol
pretty funny,
too.
actually.
Anyhow,
That's me.
Well, we got some funny things to talk about this first episode we wanted with we're recording today. And I actually want the header that I'm going to call it is, and I know that there's a lot of people out there in the news media that's calling it something different, but I'm going to call it Stinky Dozy Trump. I mean, so I think we talked about in one of our other podcasts how Trump was falling asleep. And, in all fairness, when you're doing jury selection, it's probably tedious and mundane and
It is.
long. And not that I'm defending him, but,
I mean, he is, what, 78, 77, 78?
Yeah, I think he's 77, turning 78.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's 4 years younger than Biden.
Yeah, but he's still up there in age.
But it's one thing to fall asleep, and the next it's another thing to Trump during, no pun intended, during your entire sleeping. Apparently, he's been letting out gas, and apparently, it hasn't been very pleasant for. Really for his own attorneys. They've been cringing through the process. I just think it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, I don't know if he had to change his diaper when he left the actual courtroom for lunch or something like that. What I would really love to be a fly on the wall and somebody or him reading or seeing that type of stuff on the news and seeing how pissed off he is. Not only is he falling asleep, especially when he calls, Biden Sleepy Joe, but he's farting through the entire thing. I mean, and these poor people in this courtroom.
Must have been those burgers he had for lunch.
Oh, speaking of that, so, we're in the second week now. Obviously, jury selection. Now we're actually into the actual trial. They did their opening statements yesterday. They spent $700 at McDonald's yesterday. $700
For him?
His team, $700. Now, does he have the whole fucking entourage with him? I mean, everybody?
I mean, prices have gone up.
No, there was like 27 quarter pounders. I mean, and then they spent another $500 today. I mean, there's no reason why he's trumping some stinky shit.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
But supposedly he only weighs like 215.
Was this in the conversation notes? I could have had fart noises and everything queued up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's.
You didn't set me up for success.
Actually, no, I did tell you exactly what it was going to be about. I mean, but you were kind of in your little fetal mode at that time.
I was.
And hey, I get it. I
don't even know where the chip is. I'm telling you.
Well, we survived.
25 episodes and we finally lost the chip.
No, actually 29.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's not.
Well, actually 30 if you include the bonus 15 one, 22 minutes one they did for the eclipse. So anyway, which actually just for
also not a good day because we thought we killed the
well,
switch before.
well, not we.
It was Henry.
Yeah. And again, he was just excited.
Yeah, he was.
You know, I don't know if he was at a level of sugar fix or something like that, but he was really excited towards the end.
Yeah,
So.
I was just thankful for that moment, so I appreciate you too.
Yeah.
Amen. I mean, it's one of a lifetime for him as well. So, but for the record, you know, we've been doing this a couple months now.
Oh my God, that long?
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
it's 8 months, April, almost May.
Yeah, so 30 episodes, about 3 a week.
2 to 3 weeks. Yeah,
That's
2 to
10
3
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah, that's almost 3 months.
And
Three months.
at least they're not over an hour now. Oh my God.
That's true.
I slept through those.
Yeah, we're at 5. We're at 6 minutes now.
Yep.
My point being is that, you know, one of the things they talk about specifically and why a podcast fails is the lack of consistency. You know, and yes, we are continuing to build this up, and hopefully our friends and family, of course, are coming on board, but also individuals that we don't know, they find some interest in what we're talking about here and start subscribing and start joining us and watching us on the YouTube as well as following us on Spotify, which is our platform.
And I love the fan mails that I get.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He loves his imaginary world.
Love letters to Michael.
Oh, yeah. That might be a good segment. We can kind of put in there. But
I'll write you a love
what I
letter,
will
Michael.
say, though, is I'm proud of the commitment here.
Anonymous on it.
I'm proud of the commitment here because a lot of times when people don't see a big bang out walking out of the gates and something, they kind of get over it and they kind of dwindle off. Each and every single week, we're right back there again. You know, here we are planning. You know, Mike and I and his family as well as a friend of mine are going to Dominican Republic in the beginning of June. We're going to be doing something from there as well. You know, so we're already planning for things like that. So
have you figured this out?
Oh, yeah, I've been working on it.
Okay.
I mean, as a matter of fact, one of the things that I just sent to him today about the laptop and all that helps me out even more. So
Yeah, all that's possible. So what I got to do is get the other.
So the laptop will be this.
Right,
Okay.
Yeah, it's super easy.
right. So I just got to get the other microphone
Yeah.
back, and it'll be just like what
Well,
you guys
I'm
have.
wondering if I go ahead and get some clip-on ones that are. From
I already
Rhodes.
have a Rode clip-on. You can.
Well,
I'll
I mean,
give it to you.
it might be better because we're looking at probably 4 to 5 of them.
Well, I've got one. Yeah, since we're one down.
Yeah. So I mean, bottom line is that way for traveling purposes. Carrying this through.
Oh, that's yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I'm just
What
saying.
is that in your bag, Michael?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like one.
Well,
doesn't
and
it?
he said he wasn't going to check a bag. He might be checking a bag now.
No. Actually, I'm doing Southwest, and you know,
So, yeah, you get a bag there free.
yeah, and they don't charge you for that shit. So I'm definitely checking a bag then.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be lugging something about. Because I was going to use a different bag that I haven't used. Like sorry, it's not bougie, but it's a Toomey bag that I haven't used for freaking years. You know, and as I'm cleaning things out, as I'm preparing for the move, I'm like, I need to use that bag instead, so I can look bougie. But anyhow, so I mean, I think we're done with the Stinky Dozy Trump thing. I just think it's absolutely hilarious that this old fucker is sitting out there dozing off. He makes fun of Biden. You know, just like this last weekend when he was supposed to hold a rally. I think it was in North Carolina or something along those lines, and it was pissing down rain, and he canceled. Mm-hmm. You know, he sent out this notification on Social Truth and all that to his followers for the rally. It's raining, so we're going to go ahead and cancel it. I'll be damned. All of a sudden, we get a video of President Biden coming down that damn stairs from the Air Force One, drenched in rain, about to do his little rally. Mm-hmm. I mean, 81 years old. So here you have President Biden walking down as an 80-year-old man, drenched in rain, who has no problem speaking in the rain. So I mean, but now, in fairness to Mr. Trump, not President Trump, Mr. Trump, he has a tendency of slipping when it's wet. So we don't want that to happen. I get that. So, plus, I mean, I'm sure he was exhausted from that jury selection process that happened all day week.
But after the State of the Union, where it was always Biden being sleepy Biden or what wasn't fit to do anything.
Yeah.
After the State of the Union, you have not heard anything about that because he's the one that's been on the go.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, you're correct. But I mean, we did actually have the video that came out, which was actually very funny. And you can tell that it was towards the end of the long day that he'd been out there campaigning as well as doing his typical presidential things. And he pulled up, and I think it was one of the days that Social Truth was tanking again and again and again. And
Talking about the stock price.
Yes, and Biden gets out there on this and he goes, if Donald's company, that's that social media company thing, continues to actually go down in price, my tax plan might work for him.
I heard that.
I mean, that was just a classic. Now he was obviously extremely tired, but I mean, I had to definitely give it to him for that one. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that was a great comeback. Now, if he continues to do things like that, throws shit right back at Trump, he could win. He could win because you got to play dirty.
No, I totally agree with that.
I mean, if anything, coming into the second day of his hush money trial, where you've got David Pecker, what a name, David Pecker, on the stand testifying, the very first witness testifying for the second day, and he's talking about how I was his eyes and ears of the campaign. I was the individual who would squash any of the negative stories so it didn't hurt his campaign. I would also then put out stories to hurt his opponents. So, I mean, that's how he is. Mm-hmm. And now here we have somebody who's actually legit, who's actually a good man. I think Biden is a good man. I don't think there's any really criminality there because they can't. Because they sure in hell can't.
He's not a perfect guy, but
he's not a perfect guy. But he sure in hell they don't have anything to impeach him on.
Well, but it's like all the other Republicans and all that, because he's been in the Senate for a long time. They all liked him. I mean,
well, they do. I think behind the scenes. But because of their base and getting realelected,
yeah, they can't say that. They can't say that.
And this is the important thing. There's this whole bullshit going on with Speaker Mike Johnson, and possibly being vacated again from that cave woman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's got a couple of the other individuals who joined her, who are like Gosar from freaking Arizona. I was just like, with all due respect, he probably needs to be in an institution.
Gosar? I agree.
I can't believe
his family thinks that too.
I can't believe he was a doctor at one point. I mean, but the point being is there was behind the scenes, and there's been behind the scenes conversations between the White House, President Biden, and Mike Johnson for over a month and a half, specifically on the Ukraine financing, the Israel financing, the Taiwan financing, and so I'm not saying that Johnson's seen Jesus in the right way. But he seems to come around specifically when it comes to that because he's definitely put his ass on the line.
Yes.
So, but anyhow. Well, you got anything, Mike?
Well, because we were talking about the trial.
Yes.
And so it's like
I know you got something on that.
So the trial has begun, and it's like the first witness that the prosecution put on was Pecker, the National Enquirer guy.
I mean, it's a I fucked a porn star, and Pecker's the first witness.
But it's like it.
Say?
I get it, but it's like the way they put on. I mean, so far is it's like they're telling the story of this.
Oh, they're building it.
But they're building it, and what's been going on is, and it's easy to follow. And also, it's got a. I mean, it's like you look at it because it's like he's been on the 2 days in a row because the first day he was only on there for like about 30 minutes because they had to quit because of what was it, Passover? No, I take that back. Somebody had a dentist appointment, and then today.
Yeah, one of the jurors.
And then today was today Passover? Or whatever?
But they had like $6 a day, man. Like I'd go to my dentist appointment.
But they probably already prepaid it, pre-booked,
right?
And they'll charge you like $150
cancellation fee is more.
But I mean, here's the guy from the National Enquirer telling how they did these catch and kills and all this other stuff and all these stories. And it's like they were all had an agreement with Trump that it's like any good stories on Trump we're going to put in, any bad stories on your opponents we're going to
buy them.
No, on
we're going
his
to buy the bad stories about him.
Well, but his opponents. They were going to go ahead and put the bad stories on
and
them.
embellish them.
He
admitted on the stage
he did on stage. And then anything that's bad about Trump,
Pecker
they're
going
to catch and drop it or hold it or whatever. Yeah. And it's just like a few things that just kind of like you listen to all this stuff and you're going, you knew kind of maybe, but just wow. So you look at, and I'm not a Ted Cruz fan.
Oh, God, who is?
I'm not.
I want to know who in Texas likes him.
Well, nobody in Texas really likes him. But it's like they were showing their front page things of what they did about Trump. I mean, Cruz.
Yeah.
Because when Cruz was kind of getting momentum, they did it where supposedly he was having an affair with 5 different women.
5 different. First of all,
that's hard to believe.
I don't think you can find 5 women in the entire world that would want to fuck Ted Cruz. I mean, he's got one apparently because But she obviously likes to go to Cancun when she get away from him. But
Well, you never know. They might
oh
not
my
be.
God! I
They
mean,
might not be doing it. They might have like one of those body pillows in between them. You know?
they probably sleep in different rooms too. Well, actually, because she's an executive in like Merrill Lynch or something like that.
So, she's somewhere.
She
else.
They
must
live in
sleep in,
separate
like, a body
cities. They live
bag.
in separate cities.
Oh, well, then there you go. See?
And then the other one was
I
about,
majored in the wrong
about
thing.
I know, right?
Cruz's dad was basically with Lee
Lee Harvey
Oswald.
And so, I mean, so you look at this, and they were embellishing all this stuff. They weren't true.
Making shit up.
And so it's just like, you got, I mean.
Even that thing about Kennedy being assassinated and his father and Ted Cruz's father, I was like, dude, as much as I hate that fucker, there's no way in hell. Why you making that
But,
shit
I mean,
up?
you got to look at this. It's like Cruz has got to hear this and has got to ultimately be pissed off because he knew it wasn't true.
You think?
And now it was all admitted in court today under oath.
Yep.
And so then there's a reporter that comes talks to him. What do you think about all this stuff? And his comment was I don't want to go back to the past.
Well, I mean, they're all pussies, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not really sure. Well, I think we all know what he has against Miss Lindsey, Lindsey Graham. We already know what that is there.
Yeah.
But as for what he's got against Trump, Ted Cruz, what he has against Mitch McConnell, what he has against McCarthy, I don't know. There's got to be something that he has against these individuals. And again, the important thing to understand, especially with Pecker on the stand today, is he didn't just describe what started in 2016 for the actual president's campaign. They did this for years. This was their norm. There was apparently a safe filled with all horrible stories, not just of Trump, but of everybody of influence, and that because Trump was his buddy was the one who had privy to it.
Right. But the one thing that was new when the presidential election came in was starting to pay off all this stuff for the catch and kills.
Because of his.
Yeah, because ultimately we'll see what comes up. But one that Trump has kind of been saying is that he was doing all the stuff to protect his wife and not the political campaign.
Well, I haven't heard that one.
Oh, that's what they've been. Trump's kind of been saying out.
Oh, he's just trying to keep the peace at home.
Oh yeah, but you look at this. There was this on today. What came out? There was this one where there was $30,000 from this one guy
who said he actually had done a baby out of wedlock or whatever it is. Yeah,
and then
had a bastard out there.
They ended up giving him $30,000 for it.
And I thought they held it back.
Well, they were
wrong.
holding it back because they didn't think it was right. But then they ultimately gave him the $30,000. But then but Pecker also said on the trial today that if the story was true,
he would have published afterwards.
They would publish it, but not until after the election.
Yeah, so which is kind of weird because if you're looking for 2 terms, you probably need to publish it in year 5.
No, because it's like once he got elected, it's like 4 years is a long period of time.
Let's be honest.
That's 4 Christmases.
It didn't matter whether it was published before he was elected or after he was elected because he gets away with everything. Look at the shit that he gets away with.
No, I know.
Bottom line is he's like Teflon fucker.
You're just jealous.
Oh no, I'm not. He's a slime. See, the thing about this,
he wants to be like a Teflon.
He is jealous.
No, I've actually despised this man way before he was even president. Way before he even thought about it. When he do these interviews, like, well, I'm thinking about running for president. You're a slime ball, dude. You're a slumlord of New York City. That's exactly what he is.
There's still a lot of evidence that's going to come out to see if he's guilty or whatever. But it's just like right now, the prosecuting is having him as the first witness, just telling the story, bringing out all these other people. Said, "Oh, I had."
Well, the interesting thing about some of the pundits, or I should say, the legal experts, are saying that they're doing a very good job in setting up the basis of the entire case. And then they came out today and they said, yes, there's this whole Stormy Daniels, $130,000 and all that, and she has a colorful personality and this and that. The one that he needs to be scared about is McDougal, because it was 8 months, and apparently she has details.
Well, and then
there was one who asked him. I was actually Anderson Cooper. Asked him, did he use protection? and she hesitated, and she's like, we had a discussion about it, and he said he didn't like it, so we decided not to. There's some shit that she's going to bring out.
Oh yeah. And that matter of fact, and that's kind of basically how it ended today, because they brought her up, but they didn't be able to finish it. And so you look at this, and so you look at the for the defense, he's not been cross-examined yet.
No, not at all.
So it's like they're going to have at least 4 days, because there's not going to be because there's not going to be in court tomorrow. So not until Thursday. Which
by the time you get this, it'll be Friday. But
okay, so it'll already happen or whatever. But so it's like the jury is basically just hearing all this stuff for day after day after day. So they're not hearing an opposite side. But it's going to be interesting to see how they cross-examine this. I'm going to be looking forward to it.
And to that point, one of his former colleagues who worked in the mother or parent company that was some AMN or something like that overseen in the National Enquirer was doing it just before we came on air here. And Aaron asked him from CNN, he's like, well, how do you anticipate the actual cross-examination going? He goes, well, listen, right now he's played Mr. Nice Guy. He is known for an asshole. He is going to come back fighting like hell. And because Trump's people are going to do that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how hard he pushes back on these bullshit. And I'm looking forward to that one. I would like to be a fly on the wall there.
Well, it's going to be interesting because it's just like earlier before the trial started today, they had the thing about the gap order.
And it may have already been declared by the time we get off air here.
Yeah, but it was just like, Trump's lawyer got slapped down big time
that was
by the
funny
judge.
too. You're not really building credibility.
I know, and it's just like, it's one thing if you have a plan or evidence or whatever, and they kept asking all these questions and they had no evidence to come back with it. It's just blah.
Well, yeah,
blah,
they were
blah.
saying that he was on his I don't want to say tweets because it wasn't on Twitter, but on his Truth Social, he would respond he's responding to somebody who made. Well, show me what he's responding to. They couldn't actually produce that. How stupid is that? It's out there in this sphere of internet and whatever it is. If he was responding, it's going to be there. And I guarantee you there's enough people on the journalistic side that will actually bring it to the forefront.
Mm-hmm. So, it's like I said, and his lawyer is in a rock and a hard spot because it's like...
Yeah, you got to stick next to him when he's farting. Oh, my God, I can't even begin to imagine that.
But, Trump is having influence on how he wants and what he once said and all this other stuff, but which works great when you're not in the court of law.
This is the first criminal one, too.
Yeah, but when you're on there and you're on this stuff and it's like facts, you have to have facts, and they don't have the facts, that's where you can get screwed.
Yeah, they definitely don't have any facts. And they're looking like idiots, to be honest with you.
So this is, and this is just the first witness, and so I assume that there's going to be more, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Yeah. But at least right now, it's like, I can't say I've seen enough to say that he's guilty and all that stuff is, but they're presenting a case that is easy to follow right now.
Well, in all fairness, we're not in the courtroom. We have no cameras in the courtroom. We're not really hearing minute by minute, minute by second testimony and actually what's transpiring. And so we can't even make a professional or educated type guess whether or not he's actually guilty or not. Now, personally, I think he did.
But I will tell you, if it was if it was being televised,
blockbusters.
Oh my God, this would be bigger than the O.J.
Simpson. Yeah, there's no. Both the chase as well as the trial of the glove can't fit. Whatever that shit is. Speaking of which, his one of his lawyers, which I think is probably the only one last who's alive, and just for the record, O.J. is also dead. What's the Jewish one? Motzwitz, whatever it is.
Alan.
Yeah,
Alan
Dershowitz.
Dershowitz.
Well, he came out today, and because of all these protests, things that are happening, and Mike's going to talk about this a little bit later in another podcast on these university and colleges campuses, that he can no longer support the Democrats. It's like, bitch, you weren't supporting the Democrats either, anyways. I was like, you were Trump's lawyer at one point, an advisor. So bye bye. Yeah. Anyhow. But let's finish this particular episode up with one thing that's a little bit kind of fun, but also kind of controversial. And I know that we're probably two Fridays into it at this stage, I think. And everybody knows that I don't necessarily have an infatuation. I don't necessarily am not somebody who follows her. I've talked about this before.
Oh, please.
I know, seriously, I don't. I haven't listened to the entire album.
It sucks. Well, no, it doesn't suck. It's just not classic her. I tried.
I think was kind of interesting. I mean, I've read the commentary that's associated to it, and then what we're talking about is obviously Taylor Smith.
Maybe I wasn't in the right setting. Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, maybe I wasn't in the right setting to do it. Maybe I need to be like in a dark closet crying while in the shower.
There's definitely some of those songs in there for sure.
I wasn't in the right mindset.
Well, what I found from a strategic marketing position, so it was actually last 2 Fridays ago that she actually dropped it at midnight.
I thought it was 2 a.m. 2 a.m.
No. It was midnight. And then 2 hours later.
But it had to be 2 a.m. somewhere.
Well, somewhere, yes. But obviously in the States, it was actually midnight. And then 2 hours later, she dropped another 15 records as well. So it's a double album. And of course, you know, all the Swifties just went through the freaking roof. I mean, just like, oh my God, you know. Now, I think that, you know, what the interesting thing about it is, and I'll do a little comparison there, and I don't think they have any animosity amongst themselves. You know, Beyonce actually had 27, tracks on her recently country and western album that she put out there. Taylor had to at least beat that.
Of course.
And she did. She actually ended up, I think it was 31 or something like that. You know, so it's impressive. But, you know, one thing about Taylor is she has the tendency of really kind of personalizing these songs, you know, and I've got to give her credit because
she slammed multiple boyfriends.
She has, and there was multiple boyfriends slammed in these 2 albums here.
I was like, what?
But the one that I really want to talk about, and I'm going to try to kind of get it in like 3 minutes here, but we could take a whole podcast and talk about this controversy, and of course it's Kim Kardashian, you know. Obviously, there's a huge battle between those two, and it really ended up starting because of Kanye West or whatever his fucking name is, you know, nowadays. When he went on stage and basically took over the mic when she was winning the award, I think it was MTV.
Was that the one and said Beyonce should have won this?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, I got to give Taylor some credit because I did see that itself. She handled it well. You could definitely see she was shaken. You know, but for a couple of years, she just let it go by. Bygones be bygone.
But this was before she was a huge, big international star.
Exactly.
If it happened now, I think things would have been different.
Well, that kind of leads into what really was transpired because then Kanye was doing an album release, and he put a song on his album about that incident. How he says, "I made that bitch famous." You know, I mean. And apparently, he obviously had a phone call with Taylor. She was on vacation with her family at the time, and
you gonna make it over there?
That was just really funny.
And I want to say what really transpired in the conversation, but bottom line, he was basically trying to get her approval, saying, "Hey, this is what it was," and she's like, "Oh, that's fine, no problem. That's not like slamming whatever it was," and the conversation ended. Well, apparently, when it came out, there was obviously some words on there that she didn't approve of, like "I made that bitch and I could have sex with her" type thing. You know, and again, I'm not saying it correctly 100%. I'm just paraphrasing there. And she comes, "That's not exactly the conversation that we actually had for when we talked." And then, of course, Kim Kardashian says, "Well, I videotaped the entire conversation." So she decides that she's gonna, oh my God, drop it out there. You know, like her sex tape.
Yeah.
Just miraculously just ends out on the internet. Well, guess what? 4 years later, it turns out she had actually edited that tape. And everything that Taylor had said was true. And Kim Kardashian had fucking lied.
That's crazy.
And she was doing it at the time because she was married to Kanye West, and she was defending her husband, which I get defending your spouse and all that shit.
Yeah.
You know, but don't fucking lie. Because
everybody lies.
I don't know who pissed you off, who got that actual full recording and then dumped it out there, because it mysteriously went out there all of a sudden, and I'm sure it wasn't you. You know, so of course when that came out, and of course Taylor's obviously vindicated in regards to the truth. You know, she did great. I mean, it's classic. The title of the I think it's Amy is what it's called. There may be some other words on it, but Amy. But they're the word K, the letters KIM are capitalized. Kim. So basically, throughout the entire thing, it basically. It relives the entire process. It's almost like closure, I think, for Taylor, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, she is getting a little bit kind of like kick up in some controversy on some of the words that she put in there, and basically said, everybody thinks my mother's a saintly person, and yet there was time that she wished you were dead. Yeah, whatever. Get over it. She didn't say, "I wish I could kill you." She just said, "I wish you were dead." Because you're hurting my child.
Yeah.
You're inflicting pain on my child who had to go into hiding for a year just to recover. from the backlash, because she got bad backlash from lots of people. So it's kind of interesting to see how that's all going to play out. That, and of course, Kim Kardashian's out there. First of all, I know we're at 30 minutes, but what the fuck is up with Kardashian mania? How the hell?
Been that way for
how
so
the
long.
hell did these people ever fucking become something? They did nothing in life.
Branding, man, marketing.
I know. I mean, I will
that.
give Kris Jenner some credit there, but bottom line is, first of all, yes, the ups and downs of their weight losses and shit like that's been like crazy. I mean, it's like a roller coaster, But I mean, just like they even their show. I have never watched a full episode of the show ever on any of their shows, but I could watch 5 minutes and it's like, you're just talking shit.
Yep.
I mean, how does people buy into this crap?
I don't
We
know.
talk shit.
No, we talk shit, but we don't actually buy into. We don't talk about our
We
personal
want
lives.
people to buy into
Let's
it.
open some
Yeah,
fan
but
mail.
we don't actually talk about our personal lives and then reproduce it.
Yeah, maybe we should though. That'd be fun.
No, hell no. No. We're not going there. Trust me.
But what if we had the followers that they did?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I would love to have
And
the
the
money.
money they have.
I would love to have the money. But bottom line, there's no doubt that Kris Jenner, what do they call them? Mom and Eyes or mom manager or whatever she's called.
And her first husband was a lawyer for OJ.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Bottom line is, folks, everybody has a right to like and do whatever they want, but I just don't understand the whole Kardashian fiasco and obsession and stuff like that. We created,
I don't either.
and I say people, not as a we, as more generic, created these reality stars who have nothing to offer society. Nothing. Just
Right.
drama.
Yeah.
Just produce drama. Nothing in there is real. It's produced.
And then now you got to get it even crazier to get a notice now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can just look on TikTok and see the drama that's going on with these influencer TikTokers who has several millions of people, and they're now they're battling each other, because one said this about this and one said, I'm just like, are you kidding me, people?
Right.
It's ridiculous. So, anyways, I just thought it was kind of interesting how.
So you wanted to end the show on that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to end on the fact that Taylor, as again a strong.
Well, no, I got
businesswoman-
that, but then you went on a rant on Kim and the Kardashians.
Well, because that was the whole
and
controversy that I
it's
want to
just
talk about. But I mean, definitely, with Taylor, kudos to you. I mean, a great businesswoman. Marketing strategy by dropping the first album, then dropping the second one for a double drop. I mean, you couldn't have asked somebody a better process. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
I mean, kudos to her. So,
Yep.
definitely
But I'm not a Swiftie.
well, again, I haven't listened to the entire album. I'm slowly getting through the two albums to see if there's anything I like. And I'm sure there'll be something on my playlist at some point. But there you are. But anyhow, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this particular episode up. We do thank you for actually joining us for a episode of Buddies, Booze, Banters, Unfiltered Conversations. I'm Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex.
We'll see y'all later.
We'll see you later.
Ooh, yeah.
Hey, that's hers. I don't like you.
I'm still not a fan.
I'm a fan of her business sense. I'm a fan of her marketing sense.
Oh, no, I get that.
There's few people who have actually been a genius like her. Now, I don't know if she has people around her that's done it, but I mean, she's great.
I like her. I've seen her show once. I'll see it again.
Yeah, I would.
You go with me?
Just for the energy.
Let's go. Yep.
The energy I would love to see.
100%.
Well, it's not going to be at the AAC. It'll be at Jerry World if she comes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I won't be here anymore. I'll be in Europe somewhere.
Could be. We can only hope.
Yeah, sure, asshole.
That's what